Twitter teams and the Facebook teams as well, and helping develop their platform. And so you might imagine that they want to get a piece of Google's pie, and they know that people are not going to learn 10 platforms. And so if they clickable enable their platform and get massive distribution, you can understand how significant that is. And if you understand the growth of the company, our company, you know, if 99% of Google's revenues are flown over one platform, if you're the alternative to that, it's pretty significant. So we have 3 products: Clickable Pro, which is a self-management platform; Clickable Assist, which is a whole gaggle of search marketing and social ninjas that will come help you be great at this business. They kind of grab one hand of the wheel and set your goals and set your budgets across all the networks and get you started. I think, Amy, you've tried that before. And then Clickable Local, which is a local platform, is that we do leads and we do reputation management for large companies. And we actually white label that as well for large brands. This is an example, just very quickly, of the product. So on the left-hand side, you have Google and Yahoo and Facebook. You just hit a tab, and you're in a brand new format network. And so it's all the same common experience. And those little kind of Homeland Security colors there are recommendations. And so we have a whole bunch of PhDs with, you know, PhDs in climbing algorithms and machine thinking from MIT and all over the place. And they help write algorithms that look at all your data and basically tell you what to do. And so we can tell you how you're doing what you need to do to improve every single day. And so we like to say we make marketers bionic, better, stronger, and faster than we are. So
let me just step back a second, because you're up here and I just come right down. So the purpose of this, of all of these tools, is really to have your website be more effective, to get your website on Google search as high as possible. Like maybe you could
good points for context. So I'm going to just step up as you're suggesting. Before I jump into trends here real quick, because this is, I'm going to try to, some people know a lot about this, some people don't. So let's just talk about a couple key concepts. So one is what Susan's identifying as something called SEO versus SEM. And so SEO is search engine optimization. And it's basically is how does Google view your website in the world? And it's all the organic ranking. And so when you go into Google and you type in Westchester, dentist, it's all the things, from your perspective, in the box, so to speak, that's organic. And so the borders are paid for. And the organic box is the things that Google says is important. So that's their judgment, and then people want to pay to get around their judgment in a way. Their searching index, their page rank. And so SEO is very important to do well because you're either going to be kind of in their prism of the world or you're not. And so as it turns out, there are many ways to kind of game the system, the white hat and gray hat SEO, which you can go out and connect links with other companies. And the more linking relevancy you have, it's basically when you link to people, people say you're important. And so the more important people who say you're important, the higher your ranking is. And I'm simplifying it, but there's probably 100 different quantitative and qualitative reasons why you rank well. And there are lots of companies to help you who Google likes and a lot of them Google does not like, because Google's purpose as a company to organize the world's information is to help companies get the answer they're looking for. Okay, so when you go to Google and type it in, Westchester Dentist, they want to provide you exactly what Westchester Dentist they think you're looking at, or looking for, asking for. And so in a way, they're kind of reading your mind. And they're looking at lots of behaviors in the world that you do when you use Google, because they track you, what you're looking for when you're not looking for a dentist, and your interests and your hobbies and stuff. And so they can actually provide that relevant data to you instantly. And so it's like going into a group of super smart people and saying, what was the first IP litigation case against a light bulb in the early 19th century? Right now, you have 2 seconds to answer it. So if you think about that, that's incredibly difficult to do, both in technology, but they also have to do that in milliseconds. And so they have to look at a broad range of data and interests that you might have to be able to give that answer. And SEO really is how your website is viewed in the world to successfully answer that question for Google in a lot of ways. You're helping them tell the world who you are. And so the words you use in the page and the content, how fresh it is, the keywords that are invisible to people but behind the website, all are pointers saying that I'm relevant to this market, but Google will be the ultimate judge of that. And it's free, so if you do it well, there's been billion-dollar companies that have been built because they're great at that talent, that skill.
So the goal is then to be on the first page, and ideally like the first thing.
Yeah, and that's the Holy Grail.
Of it for Google search.
Right, and it's very, very difficult to do that, I'll be honest with you. And it takes months to get ranking. and takes years to be great at it. And so in the beginning, over the last 8 years, companies got built very fast, and it turned into this huge kind of marketplace. A bunch of, I like to lovingly say it was the big dork fest of online advertising. A lot of quants had moved over to SEO because it's a math game, a contextual game. And they became really good at doing that. But SEO can really drive your business. It just means that you have to do it well all the time. And the rules are set out very clearly by Google. You just need to follow them. And so people will come and offer you very expensive service offerings for SEO. And there's some good people who are good at that, and some people who are not good at that. And they will try to kind of game the system and game your website to get that ranking in place. But the truth is, if you do it right and you follow the directions and you're passionate about your business and driving content and constantly committed to actually creating relevant answers, your ranking will go up, and you'll do it in an appropriate level of time. But I won't lie to you, it's difficult, and you need to actually you need to build your website correctly. There's so many factors, but you need to, from your construction of it to the coding to what you use to communicate to the world. Some things you might think are great, like that flash video that you have that's really cool that people see. The truth is that no one can see it. It's dark in the world, so there's no way to rank it. So there are things like that that seem seductive that can hurt your rank, because when Google sees you doing that, they're like, well, hey, that might be great, but no one can see you, so we're going to penalize you for that. So we can talk about SEO at great length, but I would just say at the end of the day, there's very clear rules. Follow them, build your site well, and be committed to creating value for your target marketplace, and Google will reward you for that. Now the rest of it is SEM, search engine marketing. That's all paid for, and that's all the borders you see on the top and on the right-hand side. And
does everybody know what that means? Like when you do a Google search, and then you have things that the center text is the basic stuff, and then the top side are really ads, but people don't even think of them as ads.
It says in very tiny gray terms, says sponsored ads, right? But and there are many different types of sponsored ads. I mean, if you go to Google, people are using their dollars to get up in the position to convert for their goal. And they're willing to pay incredible amounts of money. I mean, if you want to understand how powerful Google is, Google has 1 billion searches a day or more, and it's organizing world's information. So the more relevant data they provide to people and the answers, the more money they make, because people who are willing to buy those positions can make a fortune. And we help people make a fortune by doing that really well, because to do that well, search engine marketing, is extraordinarily more difficult than even SEO. Because you're dealing with, it's almost like you're a Wall Street trading platform that has both creative elements and math elements. You have to both write the words right and connect it to the right landing pages when someone clicks on it. And you need to be able to manage bid management, which is you're dealing with auctions and pricing and terms, and it's and you're talking about 8 to 10 billion keywords that you can potentially buy.
And that's, I was always curious, so that's what the SCM, that's what keywords come.
Yep, search engine marketing. So keywords are what drive that. So let's even simplify something further. I think this would be, I can actually go down deep rabbit holes and forget that, that most people don't even recognize it. It's a lot of stuff you can pay for. But let's talk about this in a very basic format. So let's say you're driving down the road in your car, and there's a billboard, right? And that billboard has whatever, a call to action for shopping. You were at LVMH, were you again? You were at the Diane Fair? Yeah, okay.
But I was also with LVMH.
Okay, great. So let's say you're on West Side Highway, you're going into the city, and there's going to be obviously more upscale signs, call to action. So you're going to the packing district to get there, and it's going to say, buy the new, LVMH bag or Louis Vuitton bag. Now, it's just blind shotgun blasting advertising, but they just assume there's 1 million cars that go past every day. They're going to probably hit someone who is the target audience at scale, right? And so that's billboard advertising, but that's a lot like display advertising. Display advertising is, in a lot of ways, a holdover from the analog world to the digital world. So they put all these little banner ads all over the world the last 10 years, and they've been marginally effective. And the truth is that if you did great at that billboard in online advertising, 1 in 100 would click on it. And even that number's going down. And so both people have, they call it banner or advertising blindness. You just kind of ignore it. I know you guys had developed this behavior before. You never even see the ads anymore.
They're banner agnostic.
Right. Yeah, it's banner agnostic, right?
Yes.
But also you have the factor that the inventory, the number of banner ads in the world just keeps growing. It's like a Hubble constant. It's like we had 2.7 trillion ads last year. We're going to have 4 trillion this year.